Hello and welcome to my DC Comics Solicitations for July 2023 reaction. All night terrors all the time. Although, actually, the first book we're going to talk about is not Night Terrors. We don't have full solicitations yet. Neither DC Connect nor Newsarama have a full solicitations officially released by DC, but they released 4 press releases with a huge number of series. So I think there might be a couple of continuing miniseries that are going to go on, possibly Fables. Fables have been taking big skip months though, so it couldn't. But it's Black Label, so I don't know. We know there at least one other announcement is a Black Label series which is running, but the entire month is theoretically taken up with this Night Terrors event. But let's get started with our first piece, which is Harley Quinn Black and White and Redder. This is a sequel to the Harley Quinn Black and White and Red series. Let's see, does it say it is a digital first? So it doesn't seem to say that this is a digital first. I believe originally Black and White and Red was a digital first. I think it's interesting that they're doing Harley Quinn getting 2 sequels, even though the Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman series are not getting sequels to their 6-issue runs. It looks like there's going to be 3 stories per issue of this 6-issue miniseries, and of course tons of variant covers because DC has gone nuts on those. I think it really depends. I think if they did a Robin's red and yellow, or a Batgirls blue and purple or something, I would probably be a lot more into this, but I don't care that much about Harley Quinn. Obviously, she sells well enough to justify more of these, but it is what it is. Let's move to our next announcement, which I find much more interesting. I actually found out that Sweet Paprika got one of these. That was kind of funny. So this is actually a fun announcement that we've been waiting for quite a while. Mark Waid and Brian Hitch have been saying they're working on a sequel to Superman Birthright for quite a while. This is the announcement. It was originally called something else, but this is called Superman The Last Days of Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is apparently dying of some kind of disease, and Superman is trying to save him. I did not expect this from Mark Waid. Mark Waid seems to have really fallen down a tribalistic mindset in the last 5 to 10 years. And most of his fans seem to have fallen down the same mindset. When I talked about this on the Superman Discord, a lot of people were like, oh, I hate Lex Luthor. He should just die. Superman should let him die. I think it is good to try and save the lives of those we disagree with and those we hate. Obviously, Lex Luthor is a villain, and I think if it were Batman saves the life of the Joker, which they have done those stories, I don't like those stories because the Joker is not a person. The Joker is the symbol of evil. Lex Luthor, to some people, is a symbol of evil, and I think that's a problem because there are a lot of people who are rich who they disagree with or who they think are evil. And this is true no matter what political side you're. There's plenty of people who, if you're a right-winger, super rich people, you're like, oh, that's evil. And of course, lots of left people with their sort of Marxist or sort of socialist or union, they think management or the bourgeoisie or the owners or the renters, those are the bad guys. I don't like that. I think that it is better to try and think of people as people first. Obviously, if you have a lot of money, you have a lot of power, and power corrupts. As a conservative, I do believe that. So I'm not saying that Lex Luthor is a good person, but I think it's a good thing for us to be inspired by Superman to not want to kill or not want our enemies to die. So I'm really curious to see how this works. Brian Hitch's art from Hawkman is just amazing, so I'm very excited to see this. It's going to be 3-issue miniseries. Each issue is probably about the same length as a 2-issue, so roughly a 6-issue length in terms of material. They haven't said if it's like extra wide, like a lot of these things. I kind of hope it's not. I did collect one of those, the Superman versus Lobo, which was hilarious, by Tim Seeley and Mark Andolfo. Very fun. But I don't like storing it. It doesn't fit in my box, so I have to put it on the shelf. So we'll see. Mark Waid is also doing, and they have so they have the first cover, and they also have some preview pages, which are very cool looking, classic Brian Hitch. And then Mark Waid is doing a sort of prequel ongoing, similar to his World's Finest Batman Superman. This is World's Finest Teen Titans, featuring Donna, Bumblebee, Dick Grayson Robin, Roy Harper Speedy, or Red Arrow, Wally West Kid Flash, and probably Garth, Aqualad. That's what it looks like. So that should be fun if you like Titans. I don't like Titans. I know Mark Waid was really popular for doing Champion, so I think this is a natural fit. I'm not excited about this. I'm much more excited about a sequel to Birthright, which is my personal favorite origin for Superman. I just love that miniseries. So that is the two things that are starting in July that are not Night Terrors. Now let's move on to Night Terrors. Now DC released 2 additional articles on Wednesday and Thursday about Night Terrors. So we're going to go through each of those, and then I'm going to talk about which ones I am excited about. So we've got Horror Invades, and this is sort of the primary thing. We've got a special called Night Terrors First Blood. Actually, let me start at the beginning. They mentioned this, but it's different. The Night Terrors Free Comic Book Day special, which comes out on Free Comic Book Day in May, first Saturday in May, written by Josh Williamson, who's writing a bunch of these things, and the main 4-issue event plus specials. Illustrated by Chris Bachalo, which is pretty cool. He's usually a Marvel guy coming over to DC, and also Howard Porter, who's a big Josh Williamson collaborator. Josh Williamson and Howard Porter are doing also the Night Terrors First Blood oversized special. That sort of is like Alpha and Omega. I don't know why they're not doing Alpha and Omega, but they're doing First Blood, and my guess is either Last Blood or Last Heartbeat or something like that to be bookends. So it's technically a 6-issue miniseries event with a 0 issue. So 7-issue miniseries event. I don't understand why they don't do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but they like doing this Free Comic Book Day special 1, 2, 3, 4 special. But maybe they get extra boost out of number 1. Not excited about First Blood because I don't like Howard Porter's art, but I was pleasantly surprised at his Bane One Bad Day with Josh Williamson. So it could be art that I like. The main 4-issue miniseries, first 2 in July, second 2 in August, is going to be drawn by Giuseppe Camuncoli, who's great, Stefano Nasi, and Caspar Weingard. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Caspar Weingard is actually drawing the Mr. Freeze backups in Detective Comics right now for Cy Spurrier. Really like that art, actually, so that should be cool looking. This is going to focus on Dead Man, and it's like a supernatural tour guide. Everyone's trapped inside the nightmare. So I said this in my video description. Night Terrors is Convergence 3, Fear State 2, Night Terrors 1. Because all of these were 2-month events, which mostly just replaced all the books with this new continuity. In Night Terrors, it's Nightmares. In Fear State, it's an alternate future. Future State is an alternate future. And then in Convergence, it's the Brainiac collected everyone and makes 2 cities fight for everything from different continuities. I have liked pieces of each of those previous 2 events. I'm hoping I like pieces of this event too. I had no interest in the main story. I didn't really like Convergence, and Future State didn't have a story. It was real dumb. They should have had an ongoing story, but the thing is, Future State was an attempt to do Rebirth with Infinite Frontier, but they didn't. It was iffy. But I liked Infinite Frontier a lot, but it was iffy compared to Rebirth, which was much more coordinated. So the first pieces that are solicited are mostly villains books. So we've got the Joker, which is basically 2 issues by the current Joker team of Matt Rosenberg with new artist Stefano Raffaele, who did the Blue Wall miniseries. Good art. I really hated that miniseries, but it was very thoughtful. I will say that. There's tons of variants, but I'm actually only going to look at the Dustin Nguyen Midnight variants because I love Dustin Nguyen, and these Midnight variants are a cool thing. I think they're open to order, probably at cardstock, so they're $1 extra. A lot of these are going to have backups, so that'll be interesting. I think depends on the series. This Joker series has backups, so I think it's possible this might have backups. It's not listed, though. So some of them, I don't know. So I'm not going to say this one has backups, but it's possible because the main series does. Poison Ivy. This is by the current Poison Ivy writer G. Willow Wilson. Art by Atagun Ilhan. I'm not reading this, so I don't really have much to say about it. I'm not really reading Joker either, but and there's the Dustin Nguyen. That's really cool looking. Catwoman. This is Teenie Howard, unfortunately. Teenie Howard is doing both Catwoman and Harley Quinn because she's writing the ongoings. I think it's interesting who's getting to do ongoings. So far, it's all people who are doing the ongoings of these characters moving on to do their miniseries. That is not the case for everyone. Here's a Harley Quinn Dustin Nguyen. Very cool Midnight variant. Black Adam. So Chris Priest is not doing a Black Adam miniseries. Unfortunately, I think it would be really cool if he did, but I don't know if he was interested. Very cool Midnight variant. This is actually written and drawn by Jeremy Hahn, who I actually got a chance to meet at C2E2. I think he mentioned he was working on something like this, but obviously very few things were announced about Night Terrors other than the event 2 weekends ago. Night Terrors Angel Breaker. So this one's fun. I'm actually excited about this. The previous one I wasn't actually that interested in reading, which is why I didn't actually go for it. But Angel Breaker is written by Tim Seeley, art by Aki Bright, who did some stuff in DC vs. Vampires. I don't remember what though, because that was mostly Otto Schmidt, and then I think he must have done All Out War, or maybe he did some of the. I think he did some of the spin-offs, like I don't remember what they call Vampire Hunter or something. Angel Breaker was my favorite character to laugh at in the Shadow War event because she doesn't wear a shirt and she's very silly looking. And she was just so poorly written. I was really disappointed. But Tim Seeley is great, and he's adding to her backstory by connecting her with his character Raptor. When I asked him about his Night Terrors series, because he did a prequel story in the Lazarus Planet event. Lazarus Planet, by the way, this is not included because it didn't take over the event, and also I hated it. Because it was just a bunch of 10-page, what do they call it? 10-page, what do you call it? 10-page shorts about the upcoming series. It was a bunch of 10-page ads that you had to pay for, and I was irritated. But this one is self-contained miniseries, while they basically, I think, let the other teams get sort of more coordinated, because it's been kind of chaotic recently. Since Dark Crisis and a bunch of things were before and after Dark Crisis and nobody knows in the alternate universe with Batman. So, Angel Breaker #1. I am hoping to get that one. Punchline, interestingly, is written by Danny Lore and Art Lucas Meyer. I'm interested that they're giving Angel Punchline a story because her miniseries kind of petered out and wasn't even a miniseries. It was 6 additional issues of Catwoman. But they're continuing with her. Oh, what does Dustin Nguyen's variant look like? There it is. Ah, very nice. Dark. All right, and lastly, we have our main thing. Let's see, sharing. Our last article for Night Terrors. And this one, I think there's about 10 to 13 miniseries covered here. So we have Batman, and this is written by Josh Williamson, art by Guillaume March. That's going to be great. Love Guillaume March. Interesting that Chip Zdarsky is not doing this. Maybe he's working hard on his crossover with Catwoman that's been sort of announced with Teenie Howard and Nico Leon and Jorge Jimenez on art. But this one, I hope this is better than Josh Williamson's run on Batman. I really didn't like that. I'm excited about Guillaume March because when he did Batman and Joker with James Tynion, he was fantastic. Wonder Woman, written by Josie Campbell and Stephanie Williams. So this one's going to have a backup. The Batman one apparently isn't. Oh, wait, no, the Batman one, yes, the Batman one's going to have a backup, also by Josh Williamson, art by Dave LaFuente. So that'll be interesting. But Wonder Woman, Josie Campbell, and Stephanie Williams. So there's backup art by Juan Ferreira and Megan Hetrick. Josie Campbell, this might be following up from the Clooney Conrad crossover Lazarus Planet. So that'll be interesting. Superman, of course, is written by Josh Williamson. There is no backup. This series doesn't have a backup. But Josh Williamson writing Superman and heading this event, of course, he's going to write the main Superman tie-in miniseries. That makes sense. We have Action Comics, which is going to be primarily Power Girl. Apparently, I'm a little disappointed because I really haven't enjoyed Leah Williams' Power Girl stuff. I appreciate that they're doing something with her, but I haven't enjoyed it, even though I like the art. Vasco Georgiev is doing the art, and then Philip Kennedy Johnson and Miko Suyan are doing, I think, the backup about the Super Twins, which should be fun. I like the Super Twins. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this one. I am collecting Action Comics right now, but I'm collecting it for um, the Dan Jurgens and Lee Weeks backups. So whether this isn't going to have that, do I want to keep my run? I don't know. I do like the cover, but the fact that it's focusing on the part that I like least about Action Comics, the Power Girl stuff, kind of bums me out. Now, Dan Waters on Detective Comics, focusing on a Jim Gordon using his robot from when he was Batman, Rookie, and apparently it's the Batman is going crazy, and Babs is in it. So this is gonna be a Batman family, not Batman, a Gordon family book. That's fantastic. This one I might very well get, especially since that cover is awesome. Batman symbol with a bloody hand. Jim Gordon and Dan Waters did such a great job with Azrael, and he did a pretty good job. I didn't really like it, but the Arkham City, not Arkham City, Arkham, yeah, it was Arkham City. His Arkham miniseries. Now this one's funny. Night Terrors, Nightwing number 1 and 2, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. Interestingly, crediting him for Wonder Woman, even though this is much more derived from their Batgirls book. It says that Dick wakes up in jail and he has murdered someone he loves, and someone in his past is haunting him in the form of humanoid pigs. So this is very crazy sounding. Art by Danielle De Niculo, who's done a lot of stuff with Tom Taylor. I think she's Australian, or he's Australian. I'm not sure. I like their art. The Batgirls are going to help Nightwing figure out who framed him. So that's exciting. If it contains all 3 Batgirls, I'm definitely counting this as Batgirls issues 20 and 21. So I like the fact that they're continuing that, even if it's called Nightwing. So we have Night Terror's Robin, written by Kenny Porter, who just started releasing his Superboy Man of Tomorrow. Really good miniseries. Definitely recommend checking it out. The hard copy is going on sale this week, but it was released on DC Universe Infinite. But this Robin is going to focus on Tim and Jason. Kenny Porter hasn't done a whole lot yet, so I don't know what he'd do. And I feel like he's going to do the same kind of thing where they start off sort of at odds and they end friends, which is nice, but I've seen that a billion times. I do really love this Midnight variant, though. Dustin Runn's killing it on these Midnight variants. He's doing like 15 variants in this 1 month. Teen Titans by Andrew Constant, who did Future State, so he's no stranger to this whole structure of 2-issue miniseries for an event. As Scott Godlewski doing art, although he's going over to Marvel soon. Interesting that Tom Taylor's not doing any of these. And a Jorge Corona variant. And here's our Midnight variant by Dustin Went. Great. Another interesting thing. Cy Spurrier seems like he'd be a perfect fit for the new Flash, since he's doing cosmic horror, and this is sort of a Nightmares thing. I'm surprised that they're not having Cy Spurrier do this, but it is a Barry Allen story. So this is by Alex Pocknadel, who I did get to meet at C2E2. He was very, very nice. Art by Daniel Bayliss. And so it's about Barry getting trapped in the Nightmare realm. So kind of odd, off the wall, not expected, but fine. Shazam. Now this is by the current Shazam writer, Mark Waid, and art's going to be Roger Cruz, who just is jumping over from Flash 1 Minute War, and before that he did Robin, and he's really fun. I like his art quite a bit. It looks like it's going to focus primarily on Mary Marvel and a twisted version of her heroic buzzer, the Teth Shazam. So like Teth Adam, but Shazam. Now this one I'm definitely going to get is Night Terror's Green Lantern, written by Jeremy Adams, art by Edward Pansica. I love Edward Pansica. And then Alex Segura is writing the backup about Sinestro, and art by Mario Fucillo, I believe. And I think I'm going to get that Midnight variant too. If I can get my local comic shop to get those Midnight variants, they should be great. Roberts asked, what do you think they have planned for September, since this event is clearly to buy them time? That's an excellent question. I think they're going to we know they're launching Flash and Wonder Woman that month. I think they might be launching a bunch of other stuff, and they're definitely going to be launching like a new storyline for most titles. I think that's when they're going to start the Batman Catwoman crossover, and Superman will not be through with his first arc though, unless Williamson planned for just like I guess only 5-issue arc. He could finish it up, but I think it's just going to be a bunch of new arcs, and they might do more crossover type stuff. So Zatanna, Night Terrors Zatanna, written by Dennis Culver, who's writing Doom Patrol. Of course, there's going to be a crossover with his Doom Patrol. Art by David Baldion. And that's a very creepy looking Zatanna. And this last one I'm actually very interested in. It's Night Terrors Ravager. I didn't expect this, although writer Ed Brisson says this is tied into his Batman Brave and the Bold miniseries that he's doing with the Stormwatch, which also features Ravager quite heavily. Art is by Dexter Soy. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this because I love Ravager. I've really enjoyed a lot of what Ed Brisson's doing, and I love Dexter Soy. So Dexter Soy doing Ravager looks great. And again, that Midnight variant by Dustin Nguyen looks amazing. So that brings us to the end of all our pieces. So just to go over again what I'm interested in, Last Days of Lex Luthor by Wade and Hitch. The Free Comic Book Day, of course, since it's free. The miniseries from Night Terrors that I'm interested in are Angel Breaker, Action Comics, Detective Comics, Nightwing, Robin, Green Lantern, and Ravager. I'm on the fence about a couple of these. The ones that I know I'm sure about are Green Lantern, Detective Comics, and Angel Breaker. And the other 5, it depends. But I like having about 8 comics, about 2 comics a week to buy. So that is a nice roundup. Solicits. So they're not technically solicits. They are articles, and I've linked them in the video description. I've been checking all day for actual solicits, and it's basically just blog posts. So I think there's probably a couple more like continuing series like Fables, or I think what other Superman Lost, I think might actually also post issues for this. It also might take a break because I know that Carlo Pagulayan often has delays in art because he's very detailed, and I think he doesn't do layouts as well as as confident as he like, which is why what's his name? Larry Hama often works with Priest when he's working with Pagulayan to do layouts, and I talked to him about that at Twin Cities Con last November. So that solicits a quick one today because I have to run, and so I will see you guys next month. Thanks for watching.